Hello, my friends. Today is March the 21st, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow. This is approximately a 10-minute reading. Stick with me. And this is four cards. General energy card for the year, something you might sustain through the year, or something that might come in to chop it open for you to pay attention to. And then there is a particular challenge that you face. Then there is an action you can take to stay in balance, and then an outcome or synopsis card. This is the general energy card for this year to follow. It is the empty room. And what does the empty room talk about? For so many of us, an empty room is scary. We don't like to go into empty rooms. We want to have more, 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 more. We want more information, more stuff. It's hard to sit with emptiness. It's hard to sit with that sense of nothing. But yet the empty room is pure potential. And many times we have to quiet our minds and still ourselves in order to go into the empty room and sit for a while with patience and perseverance and wait for the right answer to come, to wait for the direction to come, to wait for the purpose to come. So the empty room, it all depends on how you see your empty room. If you are empty and you want to fill your room up with something, and you're pushing and driving to have something happen, to get the knowledge you want, or to go after the self definition you want, or to get your emotions fed in some way, or to push your body to be alive, but you just keep pushing your body. Those are pushes that need to be balanced. Need to be balanced. I think the empty room says this is a time to come into balance and to shut off some of the drive and just get quiet and listen into the empty room. So, what is your particular challenge? Well, it is just that Page of Swords. Page of Swords. Swords are driven. I mean, all signs, are driven to follow, whatever it is they're wanting to follow. The page is kind of youthful energy. The page is just getting excited about something. Page of Swords, you're excited about some kind of use of your mind. You just want to, take in all this new information. You don't necessarily know where you're driving to, but you want to drive toward understanding and knowledge and wisdom and information and stuff that feeds your mind and stuff that gives you information. But there's a drive in the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands usually is going to do it themselves if nobody else wants to do it with them. But usually they're going to do it themselves, and you're going to go after what your mind says it really is craving. But there's a challenge in that for some reason. I think you don't necessarily know which way to go, and maybe you think you do, but I think your mind is pushing you and driving you in that direction. And on some level, I think you might feel overwhelmed, tired, exhausted, disconnected from some kind of truth inside of yourself. And with all that going on, it's kind of hard to keep driving when other things aren't being satisfied. So, what do you need to do to stay in balance? Well, Hummingbird is the card comes up is the card that comes up, and Hummingbird to me talks about a number of things, but Hummingbird feeds on nectar. And for us, that would be what are the things that are sweet to us, that bring us some kind of joy, that bring us some kind of connection to spirit, that bring us some kind of connection to something bigger than the drive of our own minds. And there is a lot bigger than the drive of our own minds. So we have to remember that and believe it, that we want to satisfy some other part other than our minds. And people in their minds often are in their minds and maybe sometimes disconnected from other parts of themselves. We all suffer through that. So this is the Hummingbird says, if you cage a hummingbird and it stops singing, it will die. So, what brings you to sing? What brings you to the nectar of your life? What brings you to the sweetness of beingness? What brings you to find the sugar and go on your missions once you have your sugar inside of you, your nectar, your sweetness? But it says you have to, I think, go to the empty room. And you have to be, uh, you hummingbird need to sit down for a minute. Even hummingbirds can fly thousands of miles and then they need to rest. They'll sit in a tree and they'll rest until they build themselves up. And if they don't have enough nectar, they can't go on. If the sugar runs out in their soul, in their body, they can't go on. So this is saying to you, you can't just keep pushing. You have to find the nectar and the sugar, the sweetness, the sacredness that is sweet. Not the sugar, but the nectar, the sacred sweetness of life. It's not about sugar, remember? This is about nectar. So you have to find your nectar. What raises you? What transitions you? What gets you out of your mind, really, is the question. Singing? Does singing get you out of your mind? Does hiking get you out of your mind? Does yoga get you out of your mind? Does serving others selflessly get you out of your mind? Whatever it is, this card says to find balance, you got to do something other than think. You got to do something other than think and focus so hard on the drive to get where you want to go with your knowledge that you forget yourself, because you're a whole being and you're not just a mind. So therein is the final card. And I always see someone opening their heart and a bird coming out as a sense of wisdom, as a sense of flight, as a sense of higher information, as a sense of raising one's mind to levels where they can actually see from a vantage point high above things so they can get a wider picture, a wider understanding. And you're asking for a wider understanding. So this is the wider understanding. If you don't open yourself to your heart and your nectar and your sweetness and your joys and only listen to your mind, then maybe you're shutting yourself off from your truest, most authentic beingness, the part of you that can fly, the part of you that can soar above limitations, a part of you that has a body, and don't forget your body, the part of you that has emotions that need filled and needs love and needs to learn compassion, the part of you that wants to taste the nectars of life, the part of you that drives itself to find some kind of self-definition. Well, your self-definition might be, that you're just pushy and pushing so hard that you burn yourself out and something else happens to you. So this is a lot about listening to your own nectar and allowing yourself to be free like the hummingbird and to not be caged by your own mind or by somebody else's mind, but by your own mind, and stop yourself from experiencing joys in your heart. Go play with kids. Go play with dogs. Go sing. Go dance. Go create. Go paint. Go write. Go do something else that's not in the framework of the mind that your mind has gotten stuck in this year. And you can only push, I think, to your own detriment. Stop, breathe, go into the empty room, be quiet, listen, open, and the answers will come of where you need to go next.